New England. This all just one hunk of a piece of shit land. That was for Tim.
Alright. We gotta give at least 30 to an hour for the women because they feel like they're
Louisiana is gonna be back that ass up. Girl, you look good, why don't you back that ass up? That works for the whole state.
Some ass, yeah.
Who else is out there?
Boom. To the 99 to the 2000.
You know,
Cleveland. Yeah.
I would have 100%.
Concrete, the better one for Louisiana would be you understand.
For the women in the room.
You understand?
Going out at work.
Yeah.
Juvie.
So I'm really sorry, y'all.
You understand?
You understand?
That's off the G code?
Wait, what do y'all think about
400 degrees.
You understand? I'm a rapper, but I'm still a
Oh, yeah!
Well, I did have a question about Lil Uzi Vert. One, what is it?
Wow, look at that. Niggas is interested in this topic. Oh, wow, look at that.
The Miami anthem is Doodoo Brown.
I think that belongs to all the blacks. Okay, what is the reception like for him among the youth? Like, is it okay to be alt now if you're a black?
Yeah,
he stepped outside of the.
Yeah, that kind of like Lil Uzi Cardi wave where you like, you know, they kind of they're gender benders. So you could like be androgynous, like all that shit. A lot of the young niggas in the streets, they don't really fuck with it. They'll like disavow that, but like they fuck with the music.
They turn a blind eye to the Batisms.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're not like
Batimanism.
mimicking his style of dress and sort of emulating that aesthetic.
Sure. Philly still is one that aesthetic. Like the Rick Owens.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah.
A Mary.
Just like being avant-garde, you know, the avant-garde artist who like is like willing to take fashion risk and everything. But Uzi started off like with some bangers. Like he didn't like the most he did was dye his hair purple, but like he was still like into fashion. It's just like those fashion choices got a little more like out there.
Yo, that album is a classic. What is it called? Love, Hate?
Yeah, Love is Rage.
Love is Rage.
Yeah.
Yo, that's one of my favorite albums ever. That shit is piece of art, bro.
We got a lot of our artists in Philly, they get bigger than life and they don't get necessarily like in tune with Philly, quote unquote. Like Lil Uzi, even though he's from Philly, and he still got ties. Like he still be in West Philly, like on 56 and Lansdowne. Like he still got ties, but he's so larger than life that like, yeah, he's part of Philly, but he ain't in Philly, if that makes sense.
He shouldn't be. I'm trying to leave Philly.
Love is Rage too. That's the one I'm talking about. When the off-white cover design on the cover.
I'm thinking the one with like the little cartoon.
Nah, the second album. That shit.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But he got more respect than Meek Mill though. Meek Mill ain't really that respected in the street.
He's remedial. He's retarded. That's
Diddy has tarnished Meek Mill's legacy, his like street credibility.
Yeah, he's pretty much done.
Nah.
How long have you been in Philly?
What you mean? I've lived a bunch
Have you
of
always
places.
lived in Philly?
Yeah, born and raised in Philly till I was 14. My mom passed. My dad came through because he was working overseas, so he forced he kind of like finessed to get himself posted to New York so he could like come and stay in the States with us. So, and then lived in New York for about 7 years. My father retired. He ended up getting a place in Delaware, so I lived in Delaware for a little bit, and I was just like, I'm coming back to Philly. Yeah. So it's been like on and off, but like I've lived in Philly more than I've lived anywhere else in my life.
Yeah, but you're from Delaware now. That I know that.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about moving to Delaware, bro. It's not a bad place to live, especially if you want to get away from the fuckery Yeah, if you want to get away from the fuckery of Philly, Delaware's not a bad spot.
So
I
you
got a good question over there.
got a brother over there.
I will say respectfully.
I got a good question.
I am the most Philly in this room. I'm 100%.
I got a good question. When is the funeral?
What was that?
What? When is the funeral?
it's true, Louis.
Bart.
Well, I realized Guava was more Philly than you
Did
when
they
you
took the
said
body
you
off the
missed
floor
New
yet?
York City.
Yo, did they took the body off the floor yet?
And you missed New York. Guava was more Philly than you. I don't think
No,
Guava
New
would
York
ever
is a
say
cool
something
city.
like that.
New York
Did
is
y'all took the body off the
Louis.
floor yet? Y'all called the coroner?
Louis, you gotta get the cause of death first. Louis, because if it's contentious, then we gotta. Anyway, Louis, when you were growing up, did you ever have any like cultural clashes where you want to do like Philly things? I want to play outside basketball, blah blah. And your dad is like, "Why you want to play basketball?" Oh no, that's why don't you play soccer? No, that's Haitian. I can't. You know what I mean? That ever happened?
Vincent.
No, my
Y'all
dad.
called Detective Vincent yet?
My dad is like, it's like a strange mix of bit ultra strictness, but like if he sees that I am investing in something and I'm doing it well,
Democrats who are exhausted by its efforts have created a lot of interest in Elon Musk's future, which I don't think is any especially clearer today than it was yesterday, except that there does seem to be a focus on the fact that his work can and should and perhaps politically must end sometime in the not too distant future, perhaps just in these next few weeks between now and the end of May.
All right, Garrett, if you have anything else that might be a little clearer, which is always a question in this administration.
Chris, the only thing I can add that's clear is the White House, I can tell you, has just come out to basically deny the substance of this reporting, calling the scoop that undergirds it garbage, and basically saying that even the president and Elon Musk have publicly made this statement. So I think what we're talking about now is a timeline of the next couple weeks between where we stand at the beginning of April and where this 130-day clock probably runs out at the end of May. There seems to be widespread agreement that by the end of that clock, Elon Musk's role in the federal government will be different. But where we land on that calendar, I think, is still a target of a lot of reporting efforts around Washington.
53 past the hour. In an NBC News exclusive, two
No, you ain't gonna be able to get that till.
What up, Joe? I'm just restreaming other rooms here on Clown House. There's nothing special here, but you're more than welcome to listen in to the Clown House. Jarl.
I don't know why my body likes it more. But I don't get a bad hangover.
So I've been looking at this poll a lot. Harris, it's called the Harvard Caps Harris poll. And now I've kind of made it a mission to like read it once a month. And it's basically saying that Elon Musk favorability, and I do believe that this is a more conservative poll, or leans conservative, but Elon Musk approval rating has dropped negative 10 points from last month. So I do think that Trump maybe looks at this stuff and is like, you know what, Elon has got to go. And so Elon Musk's time is expiring. He's not going to fight it because he's unfavorable. Elon did what he wanted to do, which is gut a bunch of these programs, and it looks good for him as far as the optics of it. And so maybe it's time for him to go, and perhaps Trump is going to have a tricky April with the tariffs. But perhaps getting rid of Elon is going to be viewed as favorable in general.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, I can say this from the beginning. Let's, hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. That's all we can do. That's what I think we've been doing since July, to be honest. We didn't know what the outcome was going to be. Definitely, we was disappointed. But at the end of the day, what are we going to do, There's so much we can control.
Yep. These tariffs are going to really...
They were supposed to start today, right?
I think today after the stock market closes.
Oh, okay. And that's the thing. I'm like, this mother freaker, they talk about, he's a good businessman. He couldn't even run successful businesses. That's why he has multiple bankruptcies. Well, I could deal with one, but you got 6, 7, like, come on. But you want this man to run the country and think that he's going to run it smoothly or make the right decisions. Come on. You're crazy. What's this? Trails.
I want to read y'all something.
Sure.
Who's that?
Dr. Goddess.
Oh, okay. Hey, Dr. Goddess.
Hi, Mel. I did hear you, Mel. I was looking at something and I know I had been speaking. So apparently, this woman, let me see who she is. It's a black woman. You could tell that she's into politics. Oh, so she's listed as a media personality out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Okay. All right. And she does social media. Okay. So she's on here. She's on Twitter cussing, not deeply, but cussing Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman out. You hear me? On behalf of all of Black America. So she says to Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman, and she tagged them, "You have proven why Black Americans have the best political instincts. When Black people called you out and rejected you in 2016, you immediately, all caps, played in our faces the day after the general election." All of that is in caps. When you complained of, quote, identity politics, she put January of 16. That's for Bernie, I'm sure. I guess when you have no identity, it's easy to be mad when others are celebrated for theirs. When you wrote that letter to Squirrel Wig McFuckface, along with Elizabeth Warren, offering friendship and whatever, I didn't think I could get more sick. You are a sore loser, and this is for February of 2016, who wants all the admiration. You don't like Black people unless they are willing to follow you blindly and worship the ground you walk on. And even then, they better keep their distance, right? And you are misogynistic AF. So the combo of both makes you sick, unless it's Nina Turner. And even then, LOL. You're a sore loser who hates attention away from you. This is why you con the people of Vermont every election year. But as a Dem, to block out any possible competition in the primary and the general, then to switch to independent. And she wrote 4/16. You ran in 2020 without making any adjustments with your relationships with black people, except to try to get the young ones because they still haven't learned they're not white. You mostly kept a low profile because everyone was focused on getting Senator Harris out first and being mad at VP Biden for being there. It's amazing. You are a year and 2 months older, had to get a stent, and you showed up with a bandage on your heart from walking through the effing shower door. And they kept asking Biden if he was too old. That is all in caps. I will give you this. You're a lucky fucking bastard and played that shit. You consistently kept shit as white as fucking possible. And wondered why, when black people started voting, gasped, they rejected you resoundingly, all caps. When, all caps, President Biden got started, because he kicked your ass. And then Tupe fiascos. I don't get that. He was so fucking smart to give you fake responsibilities to keep you busy like a fucking toddler. I almost forgot you existed because Biden knew how to coddle you, and you respected him because he was a white guy, your junior. You didn't take time to make sure your cult of personality supported Hillary Clinton nor VP Harris. You took 0 moments to see the chaos you created, all caps, and how to balance that with the importance of what was going on. Because at the end of every day, you're a rich, white, cishet man, and nothing will happen to you either way. Except the last time fuckface won, you got richer. Oh shit, so this time, let's go on a tour and just yell into the sky and get people angry to make some more money. For 2 weeks, you've been relishing in white anger with your white allies. And all the social network love for you that makes people say he should run again, despite wanting the, all caps, best president ever to leave because he was, quote, old. And the day that Senator Booker stands up to disrupt shit, you can't support, she put that in all caps. You're supposed to be this big change maker, yet you can't show up. You, all caps, didn't even mention what he was doing. The caucasity. You're almost as bad as Squirrel Wig McFuckface. You prioritize, I don't know who that is, by the way. You prioritize your whiteness because that's comfortable for you. You diss identity politics because you think like a lot of them, and felt almost justified when Chris Murphy, Brian Schatz, and Gavin Newsom started talking that white boy power shit. But guess what, fucker? We, all caps, aren't going anywhere, especially with you leading us. Baby, we are back. Big identity tent and all. If you don't like that, go back to Vermont, Idaho, Iowa, and all those places where people like it. As for the rest of us, we still have some healing to do, and some people have apologies to make, and black people are still on break, but we're fucking back. So sit down somewhere and take that whack-ass, fake-ass John Fetterman with you. Black people warned everyone, all caps, about how dangerous he was, and white liberals thought he was the second coming of Bernie. So they took their political instincts and fucked up. So much for listening to and voting like black women, We got something for that ass too. Both Bernie Sanders and John Fetterman should be ashamed of themselves. Until you do right by us, everything you think about is going to crumble. good luck with that. That's the end of her rant. Everybody else is responding. So somebody wrote, Bernie Sanders is running on the same issues platform Jesse Jackson ran on 30 years ago when Sanders endorsed him as a Vermont mayor. Tweaked a bit, no reparations, it's not new, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so people are responding, but yet Shanti, she went in.
But what is the value of that? Like, there's truth in what she's saying, but at the same time, like, what does that now accomplish moving forward?
Well,
I don't know. These are questions.
Yeah,
valid criticism.
Yeah, any question is valid. I mean, look, it's discussion time. So, one, I didn't know that he, I mean, I didn't know that he didn't mention or honor or, do anything in any way to support Cory Booker. I didn't know that. Just the fact that, so honestly, like, the things that she's saying in this
Who is
Twitter
this
thread,
person, Dr. Goddess? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, she just, I don't know her. She just, I looked up her profile. I just saw that she was tagging Bernie Sanders to make this thread.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel now. Hit subscribe now.
Yeah, this, what she says, I mean, whatever the positioning is, it's kind of weird. Not to say that she was completely wrong, but to say that, he didn't support Cory Booker. That just happened like yesterday. Like, what is? I don't know what the fuck is going on. Anyway, but besides that, to put John Fetterman and Bernie Sanders in the same sentence is kind of weird at this point, because John Fetterman does not represent anything that Bernie Sanders represents, like, at all. They're like on total opposite sides right now. So I don't know what she's talking about. Right or not, I just don't know what she's talking about.
Who's the person, Dr. Goddess? Is it Teasley? What's her name?
Her name is Randy White, and I put the link.
So,
no, it's that they both have railed against identity politics. I think that's the point, and that when it's convenient, they will cater to or not criticize. Either, because I did see, I'll say, like, when John Fetterman is from my state. And when he started running, when he started to be a candidate, like, black people did come out and say, y'all know that John Fetterman pulled a gun on a black man, right? And so, it was just kind of like, it just gave you pause, because people were saying it, like, blatantly, like, they were like, we don't really want to support him. He's a racist, but at the same time, he was needed, in the race. And, like, at the time, like, his stances about, I'm going to support this, I'm going to support that, they were necessary. So, honestly, people just kind of overlooked it. And also his wife, she is white presenting, but she is from Brazil. I'll just say that. So I think people decided to give him a pass. What did they call when you hold your breath and vote? That's what a lot of black folks did.
Oh, so, yeah, that's because they had to, because he was going up against Dr. Oz, remember?
Exactly. Exactly. And then lately, remember, like, lately he's been like, remember, he's been in the news lately with sort of Trump supporting-ish rhetoric. And I don't even remember, because he's been a disappointment for a lot of people. So I hear what you're saying about, like, Bernie and Trump in that capacity. But I think around identity politics and sort of being taking advantage, of just, like, the moment, that's interesting. And I will say, no. I mean, I'm so sorry. You cannot be Bernie Sanders and not be Bernie Sanders that claims that you have the values that you do, and you don't even mention Cory Booker. I mean, this is somebody who tweets all the time, does videos all the time, is on the news all the time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, it's a little, it's that seems a little shady, and I have to, I'm gonna look up and see like if other people are really talking about this. You know, I just saw it, and I saw her going off. So I just wanted to read it just for, you know, the room was quiet and I was like, here's some news. But, yeah, I mean, anyway, go ahead. I mean,
this is gonna, if I just may say this, I mean, again, like, there are a lot of critiques of the ballot that she says, but this is the circular firing squad that these people who supposedly support the issues on the left and Democrats and all that stuff always do. And this is, in my assessment, about likes and follows and being hyperbolic so you can get, you know, more people to stand behind you with your positions. All of that can be true. And I just think it's, I don't know, I just think it's kind of weird, and not to be like super nitpicky, because language is important. When she threw out the cis, you know, white, I'm like, okay, whatever.
Well, what I got out of it is, it's like, you know, Democrats need to get on code, right? And time again, we're not on code, right? Bernie tips, like, has his toe in the Democratic pond. He runs as a Democrat, I believe, but he's an independent, right? And so he picks and chooses when he wants to support Democrats instead of, like, getting on code, right? As the Republicans, I mean, Trump has said the craziest shit, and Republicans are always going to back Trump no matter what he does. But Democrats let Joe Biden do something wrong, or he messed up. You know, this and that. And you know what? So neither of them are really, like, on code as far as the Democratic Party, right? The oligarchy tour, she's right to say, oh, you're going to Idaho. You're going to these white, very white places with little to no black presence, purposefully, right? And then you say, oh, you're always, his shtick is always like, oh, you're not thinking about the working class. You're not thinking about the working class. The last time I checked, I work, right? Like, he's trying to insinuate that black people are not in the working class. And now finally, because of all the criticism he received, he's finally going to an LA now as part of the oligarchy tour. It wasn't a part of it. Now he added it, I guess, because, you know, people started giving him pushback and, like, you claim to be for all the people, but are you really for all the white people, right? Because that's where your oligarchy tour is catered to. So since then, he's added LA, which has some black presence, okay, so that's better. But he's still, I get the criticism here. And that's what you do on Twitter. You criticize. So I guess I didn't understand the question that you were trying to say. Like, what is this doing? Is what people do on Clubhouse. It's what people do on Twitter. And not supporting Cory Booker, because I don't see now tweet, nothing, is sort of on code to me, because when have you seen Bernie Sanders support black people? Please send me some links.
All right, so this tweet came from somebody not supporting Cory. Is that what y'all saying?
No. The tweet is a criticism of Bernie Sanders, which part of the criticism was like, he has this 25-hour speech. Bernie has been radio silent. I looked at his Twitter, nothing. I don't think he said anything.
That's what I'm saying. So, because he didn't respond to the speech.
Not that I'm aware of. No, not that I'm aware of.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, is that what the tweet is about?
about a few criticisms from Bernie.
Okay.
But that is one of them.
Got you.
Yeah, long-standing criticisms that are fair, that are very fair.
Bernie Sanders should have showed up in the chamber at some point and asked a question like the other senators did. To support Tory. That's the way that you support, to give Corey some time to rest. That's how you support. And every time you ask Bernie Sanders about black people, he talks about the fact that he marched with Martin Luther King. He thinks that gives him protection for the rest of his life. I'm so sick of Bernie Sanders. I mean, the woman, that she's not saying anything that we have talked about Bernie Sanders in this room extensively. I've shared my story. I really believed in Bernie, and I supported his left wing politics, and I was like, yeah, I'm down for revolution. And
this is the comedy. What do you mean? You're listening to the comedians.
A couple of black people.
You're talking about where's the comedy? This is the comedy.
The same conferences together, and we weren't like the best.
You never met clowns before? Just listen closely.
I had a couple of them on my panel and stuff like that, and so we got to know each other, and I was excited when I found out that they were working on Bernie Sanders' campaign. When he ran, my mom had just passed away, and they called me and was like, are you willing to move to Vermont? And I was like, yeah. Now, I was happy to do it. Like, I was excited. Now they didn't end up. They did call me and ask me that, but then they didn't end up actually bringing me on board. But I was like deeply invested, and they kept saying that they would, so that's another thing. But I was deeply invested in the campaign and was like supporting. And then the more and more we talked about strategy, and I was talking to my black friends that were working on the campaign, and full disclosure, one of them said, and you'll understand the importance of this. One of them said, don't worry about it. Like, we got a plan. We're going to, black people don't really know Bernie Sanders like that. So, we have a plan to like really introduce him to the black community because, a lot of his politics, black people talk about, they're aligned with, and so on and so forth. And he had a full HBCU program. No, I'm sorry. The black man, the strategist, had a full HBCU program.
But it's an effective gaslight tool.
And so they started, and the plan was like, lay out that program and do it. And so the first stop was Morehouse. And y'all can look this up, So first stop was Morehouse, to introduce Bernie Sanders and so on and so forth. And then there was no other school.
We've got 14 people live on this YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button now. This is Republican Comedy. I'm running for the 16th district here in Illinois for Congress. Vote Kitover, Congressman Kitover. Hit the subscribe button now.
And then he started complaining about Bernie's number 2. And everybody really believed in Bernie, so it was like, well, of course it's Bernie's number 2. And I definitely heard, the word racist, it was just seemed like everybody was making excuses, self-included, for Bernie, like, oh, it's not Bernie, it's just his number 2. It's his campaign manager, making all these decisions. And slowly but surely we saw, like, black people weren't getting hired for his campaign. The HBCU program seemed to start off fine at Morehouse, then it didn't continue, and it just went on and on. And I finally asked, the brother man the question, and I said, well,
I don't think they want Turkey, and I don't think they want Egypt.
What you're saying,
I think Thunder Slayer.
Yeah,
delusional.
But, at some point, don't you have to make a decision for your own campaign? Bernie is not like he hasn't been in office. He's run, before. He runs in general, right? Just for re-election in Vermont. And I understand Vermont is not like the rest of the United States. So I just started asking him that question, and we were having that conversation. So that campaign ended with deep criticism of Bernie's number two, still having faith in Bernie Sanders, and kind of seeing what was next. And then right after, and this is where Randy picks up, because right after that campaign, Bernie Sanders started saying, we are too invested in identity politics, and we are leaving behind the white working class, and we're not paying attention to, and like, we were just sitting there like, so those of us who kind of knew what was going on the inside of the campaign, we were like, why is he saying this? And when he says identity politics, like, like, what do you mean by that? We were looking for some nuance, because it was like, surely Bernie can't be a racist. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I kid you not. This was and long story short, just as it has unfolded, he turned around and did the same thing, except maybe a little worse. It was just like, as long as he had Cornell and Nina Turner, there was no other investment. It was just like, it was just the same thing. So I concluded, like, you know what, if it looks like a cat, it's a cat, right? Like, no more excuses for
Hit
Bernie
that
Sanders.
subscribe button. This is Republicans Comedy. I'm running for the 16th district here in Illinois for Congress. I need your support. Subscribe now. This is Congressman Kitover telling you, MAGA!
I was just like, it's just so unfortunate.
MAGA, 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 MAGA!
Conclusion about Bernie, like, no, Bernie, it's you. It's definitely you.
It's a Bernie Sanders problem, ladies and gentlemen. He's a flip-flopper.
So, all that's
he didn't hire black people.
I understand. That's why I understand her rage, because you're supposed to be this, great.
Is that Julian? That's my man, Julian.
Saying, like, you're riding, you got all this criticism, and you lack support for the Democratic
I hope mine
Party,
June is ready for the firing squad.
You want to jump in and run as a Democrat. And then you want everybody to believe you're really, just an independent. And, you don't really get a lot of stuff done in Congress either. So, you're just kind of safe because you're in Vermont. But that's the end of my rant about Bernie Sanders.
Did anybody do research to see what other Democratic senators, I realize Bernie's independent, weren't on the chamber or didn't post about supporting him? Because I would like that as well.
I mean, I didn't.
Get thrown in any jail you're lucky if you get seen again. Doesn't matter where you're at.
Her posted that Sanders didn't show up at the summit or didn't post anything about him, which are valid critiques, not to mention the historical critiques about him that I agree with. Were any other senators, Democratic senators, not in the chamber offering support or support on their social media? And should they be called out as well?
Did all the Democrats show up? That's the problem. Like, Bernie's in the spotlight. Did every one of them show up? Because we're critiquing one, but there's more than one senator that didn't show up, right?
However, Bernie's like the most visible. Like, he puts himself out there. He's on this oligarchy tour. Like, he's the one saying all these things about Democrats. And so you would sort of, at this point, expect him to, at least show a minimal tweet of support.
But he's more progressive than most of these. He's far.
No, you can't compare him to other Democratic senators for all the reasons that Sin just said. I mean, he is
right, but he's gone up against his own party about certain things that he wants in place. Like, he's a socialist, like straight up socialist.
And what Cory Booker did, because Cory Booker, I mean, he said the reason why he did it is because his constituents we're asking him and other Democrats to be innovative, to think outside of the box, to do something, that would be different, for Democrats and stuff like that. So that's why he did it.
I'm not a Bernie fan at all, but I mean, I didn't expect him to be there. I mean, I don't even know why we would even critique him to be there. Like, I'm not all on board with these freaking 100% social justice.
Yeah, no, you don't sound like it. I'm just saying I see why he would be called out, and I don't put him on the same playing field as like the other Democratic senators. Now, other people were there, we do know that, but I don't know, who all was there. But it does seem kind of odd not to. It does seem, it just does seem kind of odd for Bernie.
I mean, at the very least, he could have put something on social media or have his team do it. That's all. But if this was the event that triggered that woman to say all of that stuff, which is stuff that we have already said in this room, that my point is...
Oh, look, it's Ann and my friend the trash bag.
...was not there and didn't mention anything about that.
Exactly.
We had a big room today, Ann. My YouTube channel's taking off. I'm live streaming Clown.
Because hasn't he said he's independent now or something like that?
Friend.
Like, I'm like...
He's always been independent.
He's got a YouTube live going right now, and there's like this is like another multi-thousand YouTube live, which is kind of amazing. And I'm just restreaming Patty's.
Yeah, we got that, but we already know who
politically
he is,
correct room.
Right?
It's hilarious. The comments on her are amazing.
As well, and Ian King, who's the other independent senator, is fine.
But I did a full rebrand. I'm going full Republican. Like, I'm getting rid of all the meme stuff, all the tarot stuff. I'm rebranding everything Republican comedy, Republican voters, Republican politics, Doge Republicans.
No more tarot.
I'm gonna still, pop some tarot stuff in, but the rebrand is like focusing all on Republicans because this is like a cultural war, essentially. And if Elon Musk is conducting a revolution, I mean, it's a Republican revolution. You can, because Democrats,
You're right. It's a war. It's a culture war.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's a cultural war.
It's a culture war. It's a propaganda war.
Yeah.
Well, I slightly disagree with that.
I can't even tell you about these
because
probably, but
Bernie has advertised himself, even though he's an independent and he goes on his whole like I'm socialist Democrat, all that kind of.
I had an experience today with an N-word, B-word.
An N-word, B-word. Interesting.
Yeah. A major N-word, B-word. And it just got me thinking that I think they just complain about whatever it is to try to just get one over on, on the white man, on Whitey.
Listen, I encounter people every single day that need to come to Clown House because they are just constantly looking for conflict.
Come to Jesus. Come to Clown House.
It's crazy. Like, I meet people every single day that are, like, intentionally trying to create conflict, whether with me or with other people. And I'm just like, are you completely unaware of the fact that, like, you're the problem? Like, I'm just existing here, and I'm not even talking to you. Like, I don't want to be your therapist so you can get your dopamine.
This woman said to me, I said, like, well, what would you like, or how can I help you? What would you like? And she said, I would like to complain. And I said, okay. I was really appreciating the honesty. Anyway, that's all.
So the comments on YouTube, I don't know if it's Julian from this app. I assume it's him because I think I directed him to my YouTube, but we're getting all kinds of chatter on this YouTube live now. I think it's the rebrand because I put in there Republican comedy and I got a picture of myself in the Pepe mask with a Trump hat on. So as people are going,
what's the channel?
Let me see. I'll pin the link.
Republican comedy.
Let me see.
Chicago cheeseburger.
I think it's
Remember
Republican comedy.
Chicago cheeseburger.
I should have just done Republican from like the very beginning and stuck with it, but I basically wanted to.
Well, that was what Ann was. Remember, it was Republican Ann. That's what it was. It was Republican. It wasn't just Ann. I mean, before she was Ann.
Yeah, Ann, why don't you like drop the creepy guy in the big purple outfit with the giant staff, and like just go Republican. Yeah, be like a Republican as opposed to like whatever. I mean, because you should run for politics, Ann. I mean, you should run for politics. I mean, I know maybe like intellectually, you're not a savant, but does it take a savant? For the Democrats, no. It takes friars, liars. It takes traitors. It takes scammers. They know it's all a scam. So, you'd actually do pretty good because you're not a scammer, Dr. Ann.
That's true. Well, why do I need to drop the PGR?
Because you need to rebrand, like constantly rebrand. I have found that like staying with one thing too long doesn't get you the change that you're looking for. So you have to flip flop and then find the right direction to go, and politics is not going to stop. Like this is just the beginning because Elon Musk is not going to live forever. So, and our government and the way that it's set up is not changing. Like you would think the internet would change the political industrial complex. It is not. It has just re-solidified it. So it's a never-ending battle, and it's good to like lay the groundwork now for political fights in the future because they're not going away. The Republican Democrat game is the yin yang game, or the Tao. It's the Tao basically. So it's not changing. The founding fathers were very smart. They knew how to create conflict to create, action and change. It's all philosophy. Our government is set up on a very good philosophy.
I agree.
It's not a philosophy that many people want to understand or admit, but it is essentially based off of conflict. It's Clown House, basically. Our government is technically Clubhouse. It's what it is. This is the microcosm, and our government is the macrocosm. Welcome, Dr. Don. So we have a YouTube channel that is, for some reason, the algorithm gods are giving us blessings today. And this morning I got 2,000 viewers on Politically Correct listening to bad takes. And thus people are writing like, when does the comedy start? I'm like, are you not listening? Everyone here is a clown. Like, did you not get it? Like, this is a reframe. Like, I have been wanting to take the dreck of Clown House and make it profitable. I've been trying so hard, but now I think just the correct frame is comedy. And I think the algorithm likes that because it's like a neutral, almost positive word. So it seems to be working, at least on this one YouTube account, but not so much on all the others. I think a lot of my accounts are just shadow banned, and I get no views and no algorithmic love because I'm viewed as spam.
Well,
You spam.
all my clubs or my houses are shadow banned.
Don, I don't know if you're trying to come up. Let me try to invite you again.
Yeah, the only like time I ever did that was that phone you sent me, John.
Mm-hmm.
And I started a Snapchat, which I've never had before, and I started Twitter, I think, and then YouTube, and then I would record rooms for you on that thing, and it just became too much like a damn job.
I didn't want a job.
It does become a job. Propaganda is a job. Creating content is a job. But most of these people on this app aren't even creating content off of what they're saying. And it's hilarious because like every take is a bad take on here. So this is like the ultimate place to collect the opposite and then transmute it and publish it. Honestly, like I love doing this. Like I don't want to work a normal job. I mean, to me, this is like, if I can make this work, I'm doing exactly what I want to do, which is essentially be in media, which is, creation.
Record morons, basically.
I mean, look at Seinfeld.
Executive producer of morons.
Look at Seinfeld, like the most popular comedy show of all time, and it's basically the Three Stooges.
It's literally a show about nothing.
Exactly. Look at Three Stooges, though. What's that show about? It's just about three knuckleheads.
Yeah, nothing.
Exactly. It's comedy. That's what Clown House is, but everybody thinks because our brains are so powerful in terms of incorporating what we're listening to, we think it's more like a tragedy or a drama and not a comedy, but it's actually all comedy.
Honestly, America the last 4 years has been going through a Greek tragedy, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We've been robbed blind. We've been bastardized. We've been legalized. Our rights have been trampled and destroyed. A lot of people bring up the Patriot Act, and they're right. Like the Patriot Act and the response to 9/11 was the beginning of a lot of these problems, but we have a cultural problem that has come out of all of this. And
the Patriot Act got cut down and by half of it's still there. But the thing that people need to realize is we have the NDAA, the National Defense Authorizations Act.
About to mention the NDAA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you need to worry. That's the one you need to worry about.
Yeah, that's the
one
big
you need
one.
to worry about.
That's the one that has to get cut, because I believe they have to cut Medicare, Medicaid, as well.
Oh, but according to the NDAA, if you talk about cutting the NDAA, you become an enemy combatant. And thus you are subject to potential imprisonment at Guantanamo Bay. So
and they don't have to talk about cutting the NDAA. Well, they don't even need to tell you that they took you in front of your family while a black helicopter.
All right, YouTubers, hit that subscribe button. This is Republicans Podcast. This is Congressman Kitover reporting live from the 16th District of Illinois, where we are fighting the clowns. Subscribe now.
Like, they literally bypassed due process.
Money is a problem. Unsound money, not backed up by gold and silver, is a problem.
And then, everybody's
major
bipartisan,
problem. It is the problem, actually.
And then whenever the NDAA comes up for fucking renewal every 4 years, oh, yeah, sometime in the middle of the night, Congress got together and they passed the NDAA. Wow, that's amazing. They wanted to keep
that was Obama.
Dude, they've been doing
Obama.
The last time they did it was... When was the last time they did it?
I know, but I remember when it originally came out, I think it was 2011.
No. The NDAA... No, the NDAA came out right around the time of the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
It was a matter... It was a way to be able to go after people in America without due process, because they were here and they, if you were a domestic terrorist or a terrorist that was in our country, it was a way for them to get around due process. You don't even get a trial.
Stupid in different ways. So we are not using the term NDAA. We're using
but it's actually
the National Defense Authorization Act is any series of United States federal laws specifying the annual budget and expenditures of the Department of Defense. The first NDAA was passed in 1961. So, well, we must be referring to some version of the NDAA.
It got an authorizations, added to it.
Yeah.
I would ask you to look it up. I'm looking it up.
What do you think I am?
What do you take me for?
I'm moron.
Here we go.
I'm just kidding.
2012. I was right, you bitch.
That was the last time it was renewed?
No, the last time it gets renewed every year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Isn't it funny how it gets renewed every year?
Well, look, the NDAA started in 1961, and go to its Wikipedia page. On the Wikipedia page, it tells you every time it gets renewed, and it says and it tells you the provisions that they're changing or including. In 2012,
how about you ask it? Are you allowed to be taken prisoner with no due process under NDAA?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That part was added in 2012. It says it contains several controversial sections, the chief being 1021 to 1022, which affirm provisions authorizing the indefinite military detention of civilians, without habeas corpus or due process, contained in the authorization for use of military force part.
That's all. That's what I was referring to. I wasn't trying to be super duper smart.
We agree. I know it's rare on Clubhouse to agree and just be like, "Yep, I hear you." That never happens. Nobody's ever like, "I hear you." Like that never happens.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever like, "Bro, I hear you." But
I'm not Googling stuff. I'm just going by shit that I read that's stuck in my head.
And you're right. And you weren't wrong.
Well, I am wrong a lot. You know, Joe. When I'm
now
wrong,
you want to argue. Now you're trying to argue.
When I'm wrong, I'll tell you I'm wrong. I'm just saying.
All right.
I ain't afraid to say I'm wrong. I'm not a narcissist.
I ain't afraid to say N-word, F-word.
Nobody gives about your fuck nigger bitch ass language.
Wait, hold on a second. This is a family-friendly Republican comedy show. F-word, N-word is acceptable, but saying the F-word, N-word is unacceptable.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'll make sure to remember that, to give respect to the mod. I always say it. I don't really give a shit. I'm tired of people fucking making up dumb shit all the time. Like, controlling people's language. That's the most PC bullshit that I've ever heard.
So, do you want to hear more from the clown show?
No. Oh, which one's this?
It's politically correct.
Oh, Jesus, Lord, Mary, Joseph.
It's Dr. Patty.
Okay.
I don't know.
Scotty, I was enjoying that music you had in the background.
At the gym. Yeah, they're doing, they're throwing out some old school playlists here.
Is that Donnell Jones?
Yeah, girl, you know what's up?
Just say what?
So did y'all hear about the two Venezuelan women that got caught up in the deportation? They were trying to send them to El Salvador.
Also, my words that I'm using on YouTube seem to be attracting views because I'm using terms like comedy and USA and emojis like the USA flag. So plus I have the Israeli flag in my imagery, and I think that's like causing a lot of views actually because people are so sensitive. So yeah, I mean my rebrand is like kind of working, and the YouTube comments are always so interesting. You still talking to that dude? Your integrity is suspect. Are you Jewish? You American must be E with 3 phones. Anyways, welcome back to the ESL hotline for low IQ dumb people. that spend all their time talking about nothing, wasting all their time because they're bored, lonely, and have nothing better to do with their lives. It's a comedy show, basically.
Trump Education Secretary McMahon drops into the House Democrat press conference. So she has a press
Doc,
conference.
somebody said you're the white dude on the phone that said the N-word with the hard R.
If you want to listen.
No hard R's here. That was just...
McMahon?
You can't say that.
That was a slip.
Is it McMahon?
Somebody wrote, Nathan wrote, "You are a freak of American nature. I love Donald Trump's feet."
I don't like the way she spells her name. It looks like Mahone. Mahone.
I'm just a Georgia born tired of all the bullshit.
So
This room has been great today, to tell you the
I
truth.
found it, but you can play yours. Or...
Yeah, his racist mind slipped. Somebody wants to see my hairline.
Okay.
What hairline?
You don't music mode.
No, I think it's funny that you're in that room, and I won't go in that room anymore. I refuse.
The legal showdown over President Trump's mass deportations. Alleged gang members arriving on flights to an
It's like pure oppositional research. It's unbelievable.
who say they were on those planes, speaking exclusively to NBC News. We were lied to. When we arrived at our destination, that's when they told us we were in El Salvador. Margolia Torres tells us she was arrested by ICE and was expecting to be deported home to Venezuela. Scarlett Rodriguez says she used the Biden administration CBP One app to get across the border. We are from Venezuela. We know that airport. And we were like, no, we are not in Venezuela. Both women say they have no criminal history and are not part of a gang. Consistent with court declarations, she said she witnessed an official push 3 men to sign papers claiming they were gang members. And there was a man who said no, that he wasn't going to sign it because he had nothing to do with that. And the official came and said whether we sign or don't sign the paper, they were going to leave us there. The women are now back at a U.S. detention facility after El Salvador's president refused to take female prisoners. Moya Tones says she's worried about her 2-year-old son, left with a relative in Pennsylvania. I am very afraid because I've always been with my son. There's now a legal battle over the Trump administration's use of wartime powers for some deportations. Just today, the administration said it mistakenly sent a Maryland man to El Salvador, despite an immigration judge's order saying he could not be deported there. His attorney says he was not a gang member. Vice President Vance posted, "This man is an illegal immigrant with no right to be in our country." It was an administrative error. This individual who was deported to El Salvador and will not be returning to our country was a member of the brutal and vicious MS-13 gang. The Trump administration touts its handling of border security, with illegal border crossings now the lowest ever recorded. A new poll shows 58% of Americans approve of the president's deportation efforts, but an ACLU attorney says mistakes have been made.
Whoever heard of sending someone potentially for a life sentence in El Salvador without giving them any due process to show they don't belong?
We go to Rodriguez in Venezuela. Her daughter hoped for a better future in the U.S. Now, those women just want to be deported to their own country. What will you do the moment you see him?
Doc, I'm about to leave.
It is going to be the happiest day of my life, she said. Lester, DHS says they will not comment, citing ongoing litigation. Meanwhile, this Thursday, lawyers will argue they did not violate a judge's order by deporting immigrants to El Salvador using those wartime powers.
I'm about to leave, Doc.
That's it.
I'm just letting this run, but I'll be back. I'll be back in like an hour. I gotta go to the gym and work on my gout. So I've set up a Pepe doll in my place. A Pepe doll is now sitting in my chair as I leave for the gym. The Trump Pepe.
His deportation is getting crazy.
I know it's not good quality. Clown house to clown house isn't good.
Yeah, it's unlawful and disgusting. It's empty. People should be outraged by that.
Yeah, especially somebody that might end up spending a lifetime in prison in a whole nother country. The dude from Maryland.
Just doesn't look right, does it?
That hasn't done anything wrong and is here legally. But these are also people that are here legally.
Stupid, huh? I'm stupid. Yeah, I agree. This is comedy. What do you expect?
You wanted to play yours, lady?
This is so funny.
I'm here. Sorry about that. Microphone check. All right.
Check one, check
So silly.
Thanks so much for coming, and I just want to express my gratitude to all of these folks who came today so that we can have an open discussion about what I believe is one of the most important things that we can have a discussion on or action on in our country, and that is the education of our young people. The best education is that is closest to the child, where teachers and parents, local superintendents working together, and local school boards to develop the curriculum for those students is the best way that it can happen. Funding from the United States government will continue through the programs that have already been established, and I will look forward to continuing to work with members of Congress on both sides of the aisle, and I welcome the fact that these folks came today and expressed their concerns and shared in an open, collegial format.
Here, can you just ask the question, when are you going to shut down this building?
Well, we've had our discussions already, so thank you all very, very much for coming.
She didn't answer the question.
As you see, she's not answering the question when she's going to shut down the Department of Education. She doesn't have a plan, and while she doesn't have a plan, they're continuing to look at firing people, reduction in RIFs, reduction in force, maybe, doing it with a velvet glove, but still has the effect of an iron fist.
Dismantling the department.
Dismantling.
Good morning, everyone.
There you go. So, what is that, McMahon? She, this is the wrestler's wife or mother?
What is it, World Wrestling, or no, what's the, I don't know, it's from wrestling, pro wrestling. Her husband, Jim McMahon, was the founder of all this fucking shit. And they're all a bunch of fucking clowns. Circus.
Well, apparently she just gave a brief message saying how they're going to work together, and she looks forward to working with both sides, but provides no additional information. She was asked, I don't know if you guys could hear it, but she was asked, when are you going to close the building down? She said, we've already discussed that, and took off walking. So, yeah, that's a discussion on that. So it sounded like to me from this, and I could be wrong, that they're definitely going to work with the states and then control the funds that way. So then they can, if the states don't do or cooperate with what is said by the administration, then they won't send the funding. That's how I see it happening.
Which means they will, translation is, if you don't do the curriculum we tell you to do, we're not going to send you funding. Which the Department of Education doesn't, as of, before Trump, doesn't control the actual curriculum. They send money to provide to districts that are doing, that have less money. They provide Pell Grants, things like that. and they didn't touch the curriculum because that's the state and local government that deal with the curriculum part of it. But now the federal government's going to say, here's the curriculum you have to abide by, which means abolishing, certain histories, et cetera, whitewashing history if you don't abide by that, and we're not going to give you funding.
All right, no additional comments on it. Hey, Lefa, on the Department of Education? If not, Department of Education going twice. All right, sold to the man in the back. Hey, Trent, how are you?
Good afternoon, Trent.
Good. Just waiting for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah. You said 3 p.m. it's going to drop, right? To see exactly what tariffs. This is crazy, man. This is like a football game, or it's just like, oh my God.
It's a reality show with a bunch of grifters in charge.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And it's bad for business.
Freaky. This is freaky.
Hey, Trent, since you are a resident car expert, what do you think? What do you think about Tesla and the pushback against from the customers around the world, and then they drop in sales for the quarter?
So I heard they went up a little bit today because of that rumor that he may be getting bounced out the administration.
What rumor? Wait a minute. What happened? You cut out.
So because of that rumor that Trump may be relieving him or sending him about his way, I heard the Tesla stock went up a little today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he's ML, yeah, he's stepping down because of Tesla. The market share lost to 13%, and they were expected to lose another 8% in the next coming quarter. So that's 20%. You can't. That's not sustainable, especially if it was to keep going forward. So it's wise for him. I don't know if Trump's pushing him out or what have you, but for Tesla, I'm sure all the executives at Tesla wanted him to get out because they can't sustain the amount of market share that they're losing.
Weren't they supposed to end anyway around May? Like those were supposed to be until around May or April, something like that.
He didn't. He was only supposed to be there temporarily, so I think he was. He couldn't be there because he's not like. They never did a background check, so he's just like a special something.
Yeah, but they don't have to do a background check when it's the president. He's overall. Like, even if they would have said no, he's not cleared, the president still could grant him clearance.
But, see, because y'all didn't want to listen to the rest of that little interview that he was on there with these other guys that were supposed to be a part of the Doge, that we all know were older and that wasn't the people that actually showed up on the doorstep. We don't know, because he did mention something about that in the beginning of that interview that I listened to. He said that his time was coming, and it made it sound like he was leaving Doge, but not the whole administration. So I don't know. I'm going to go back and listen to it to see if I can get some clues back there.
But as Dr. A.G. mentioned, and maybe you said, the damage has been done. Is the whole idea. Come in, wreck shit. Trump can blame Elon if anything is, if he gets criticized in the future or whatever. But the damage is done. Whether Doge stays in place or not, the goons are still going to be in the government to destroy shit. And that's going to be a residual effect of that.
And see, he's not stepping down. I thought it was pretty much it was a conversation that Trump was having with his cabinet, and they leaked it. His time is gone.
Yeah, it did leak from Trump's inner circle, so it's unclear about what's exactly happening.
It was a purposeful leak.
Oh, hey, I got great news. All the right wingers who bought Newsmax stock at IPO, today it's down by 7.
It's down what?
That's a lot of fucking money. Just got wiped out.
What
It's not
down?
good people. It's down.
You blacked out there.
It's down what? It's down 7 points?
Yeah, you went matrixy.
It's Newsmax. It's down 73%, $171 per share. It's now trading at 61 from 2 something.
What's
Damn!
Where's
I
that?
can see somebody jumping out of a building. What?
What the
Where's
hell?
that per share? No, where's that per share right now?
It's at 61.
Okay. Well,
Newsmax.
Yeah, Newsmax. I'm fucking pissed off because my white folks didn't call me. My wife, they didn't call me. They did. They told me afterwards. 2 of my friends put in the IPO. One put in $3,000. One put in $5,000. The IPO was like $10 a share.
Yeah.
So it wasn't shit. So it went up. It went up 700% overnight. So it's still at $60. The people that in the initial IPO are making out like bandits. So,
but listen,
and it's
to get it on the
yesterday.
But to get in on the initial IPO, because remember, that stock went up really, really fast because I think it opened at 14. It didn't open at 10. It opened at 14.
This was the initial IPO before.
It opened at 14. So if they were able to get it pre-market IPO, then that's the only way they would have got it at 10. But if they bought it off the market, they bought it at 14.
They bought at 10 and they bought it pre-market, which I.
So it's pre-IPO then they got.
Yeah, I'm guessing, or maybe they bought at the initial. I mean, they said 10. It could have been 14. Either way, you make out like a freaking bandit. I think did it go up to $100 a share?
No, it went up to two something to 265.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, so if you put in $5,000 at 10, $200,000, you got $200,000 at one point. I'm doing that math right?
Yep, and then the next day you lose it all.
No, he would have pulled it out. But you know, we're laughing, but this is how you make money. Anyway, I think the president's coming to the election, so let me.
No. You see, I'm not laughing about the people who got in on at IPO or pre. I'm talking about people who bought at the high. That's what I'm laughing at.
Yeah, I looked at it yesterday at 83, and I was like, nah, I ain't fucking with this.
Exactly, but the idiots who bought at that price are idiots. 265, especially people who bought at 265. They're the last idiots and first losers.
I'll be back after my man make this announcement.
I don't think your right-wing white friends are helping you out, Trump. They're not your real friends.
Darn. I wanted to grab Trent before he left, but I'll get him when he comes back. The overall message for Trent, y'all, is that he needs to get on code. If his white folks are giving him stock information and where and what to invest, he needs to be passed that information on. Hello? Service.
Dr. Goddess, it was a bad investment to get go. I always thought it was hype, and I regret I didn't fucking sell that fucker short, and I should have when I woke up this morning.
I'll just say that.
All right, I'm hearing that he's getting ready to announce it in a little bit, but I'm hearing that it might be smaller than originally assumed. I'm sorry, Brian, go ahead. Brian, were you going to say something?
I was just going to say there's a reason Harriet Tubman left the people behind. Hey, sorry. Say hi to everybody.
He said, uh-oh.
Uh-oh is correct.
Yeah, because he didn't bring his trombone home yesterday.
That is talking to the internet people.
Oh, that's
They be saying, uh-oh.
There's a few uh-ohs in this room.
Right, Brian's kids. Dad, are you talking to your internet friend?
yeah. Well, y'all get me dinged with the swear jar. I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the agreement we made. If you catch me saying some stuff, then yeah, pop $1 in there because
Your
it's me. But when you hear y'all,
your swear jar is already paid for his undergrad.
man, listen.
Alright, well, let's see what the stock market does with new shit. Anyway, it's up $97, which is not much of the scheme of things. I'm going to see if it shoots up or not. It's been on the positive territory for the Dow. The ADP employment report today was pretty good, or beat expectations. So we're going to be seeing what the Friday labor unemployment numbers will be, which will be interesting. Also because a lot of these people that were laid off aren't collecting unemployment and are not, may not be actively looking for jobs, which impacts the actual unemployment rate. So it may take months before the real unemployment numbers.
All right, Trump, daggone it. Trent had it wrong. They said it's going to be an hour from now, not at 3 o'clock. What is going on?
He probably meant 3 o'clock.
He meant 3 o'clock Texas time.
Right,
Before he took off, he simply said, okay, he's about to announce I gotta go. It's 3 o'clock.
Man, I still feel new here, but I'm quickly like, yeah. I take with a grain of salt when I hear my fellow human Trent speak on some things.
What gave you that idea of the man? That's character assassination right there, Brian. He's an outstanding gentleman, very knowledgeable. Nobody knows more about cars than Trent.
Yeah. He means well. Trent means well.
Yeah, so does my dentist. Still gives me pain.
Yeah, that part.
Brian, if you want to know about aliens, just ask him. He knows about aliens.
Bruh. Even my son looking like, what?
The aliens and the connection between the Tesla car bomb and going back to Germany and this guy somehow having 6 degrees separation from Kevin Bacon to the Secretary of Defense.
You gotta love him. You gotta. How would our day be? How could I work the whole day and not be entertained? Are you not entertained by the people who come in here?
Yeah, you got that.
Are you not entertained?
Is this not why you are here? Gladiator.
That has to be the best movie ever.
It's like an SNL skit.
Glad
politics. Yeah.
Okay, so we talk about like taxing on car parts. You think, okay, well that affects me if I'm buying a new car. Well, it affects everybody who has car insurance. Because what does car insurance cover? The cost of an accident. What is the cost of an accident? The cost of replacement parts. If you pull up look under the hood of inflation, what you'll find is auto insurance has been one of the higher rising prices that's been going on. So everybody's car insurance could rise even if you don't buy the parts. This is what's so problematic about these broad-based tariffs, right? Because they affect the economy in ways that folks don't fully understand. So it's very difficult for consumers to know, what should I stock up on ahead of time? I have no idea.
I also have a hard time, Aaron, totally understanding some of the objectives that have been presented with these tariffs, because they contradict each other, right? We're doing it to raise revenue while at the same time boosting American manufacturing at home, right? So in other words, there's a contradiction there between bringing in money from overseas that people are paying to import while also making it more difficult to sell those goods because American manufacturing is going to be boosted, while at the same time suggesting that this is all just a negotiation tactic to help us get better deals from abroad. How do you make sense of all of that? Does it make sense?
So at a certain level, it doesn't make sense, right? As you point out, the trade agreements he's upset about with Canada and Mexico are the ones he himself negotiated in his first administration. So if he thinks we're getting ripped off now, the person that ripped us off is him. Second, he talks about lowering our trade deficit. At the same time, he belittles countries that send international tourists here. When I served on the President's Council to promote travel and tourism, I learned that foreign tourists visiting America are considered an export. Did you know that we export Disney World and Las Vegas when people come in? Now, you see Canadian air travel to Las Vegas down 70% for the summer. Number one country that visits Las Vegas, 1.3 million Canadians come a year, down 70%, right? That's a real impact there. It's going to expand our trade deficit. And that's just by telling and insulting countries, let alone with the tariffs. What is the common theme here is this common theme, which is kind of like of everlasting proof in Trump world, that America's going to get ripped off and only Donald Trump can save us. And whatever he does is good and saves us. And so in that way, he continues to play to our fears and this belief that we're getting a bad deal in trade, which has some real validity, but his solutions don't address the very problems he's identified.
Really interesting point.
I mean, we've been saying that in here. We've been talking about Disney World and how many fucking Canadians go to Disney World. It's crazy how many Canadians go to Florida or Arizona. So if you don't have tourism in Florida, which is their number one business or number one industry, then you're not going to collect taxes. And then the coffers in Florida are going to go down. And then watch what happens. They're going to raise property taxes. They're going to defund membership. So, well, that's a self-own that Trump is going to remember.
Whatever happened to that saying, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it? Trent? What's going on, Trent?
I got some news.
Oh, Lord.
If you guys want to hear it.
How the hell you get news? Go ahead. Give it to us. I mean,
he's at the Rose Garden.
He told you.
How the fuck do I get it? Hang on. This is from Volkswagen. To all dealers, it says, "Dear dealers, today we met with the National Dealer Advisory Council to discuss the response to the new tariff situation affecting vehicles from Mexico and Europe. We want to share our immediate action plan and what you can expect in the coming weeks as we navigate this challenge together. We are anticipating the upcoming tariff changes to impact vehicles imported from Mexico and Europe beginning April 3rd. Local Chattanooga production will be impacted as well. That's Chattanooga, Tennessee, by the way. However, with the timing expected in May, we've developed a comprehensive near-term plan to address this challenge with our intent to minimize disruption to our shared business interests. Our approach focuses on marketing adjustments, inventory management, pricing strategy, allocation, and to ensure the stability during this transaction. So in short, I'm not going to read the whole thing. In short, what they're saying, well, let me give you a little bit more. We will begin reducing our deal days advertising. That's their incentive plan. Going forward, as responsible for our current situation, our team is reviewing the full media plan spend. That's how much they advertise on television and other mediums, with the goal of redistributing resources, increasing focus on consideration marketing. This is a strategic shift that will help us maintain brand in the modern term. And so the last part is we have temporarily paused rail shipments from Mexico while vessel transport from Puebla and Europe continues as scheduled. Any vehicles delivered to the U.S. ports after tariff in this place will be held at port, will not be processed, invoiced to dealers in near term.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
There's actually one more thing that's important here. It's pricing strategy. This is labeled pricing strategy. When the tariff takes effect, an added import fee will be added to the destination charge line of the Maroni label. That's what you guys know as the window sticker for effective vehicles. This fee will be aligned in car line with a 6-digit level full pricing details, specific amounts communicated by mid-April. It's important to note that no vehicles assigned to dealers in early April will have this fee added. So to break down what that means they're going to add a fee to cars that come after mid-April, and that they're pausing some of their Mexican production and bring it over so it can avoid tariffs. So from the VW standard, that would mean that prices will be higher by late April for them.
That's breaking news.
Thank you, Trent. That was breaking news. Thank you.
So, so let me explain that for the dotards like me out there. If you were planning on buying a Volkswagen in America, as Trent has been saying, buy it right now before it goes up in price. Did I get?
Pretty much, yes. They actually probably have already gone up a little bit.
Thank you. Well, good night. All right, the car company should hire me as a translator.
The thing in there that is more telling, though, is that they're limiting. If they continue, they're going to shorten supply, right? So you're going to have fewer cars coming over. That's almost a bigger thing, because that will raise all prices of all cars. Whenever you are not bringing as much supply in, all cars rises. What this will also mean is that insurance is likely going to rise because of the tariff on parts. If they are not sending over cars, they're not sending over parts. There's not as many replacement parts. There's not as many cars. Cars are more valuable. Therefore, insurance for all Americans should adjust higher. Thanks, First Lady. I'll be back if I get anything else.
Okay, babe. Thank you. Appreciate it. Trent. Oh, Trent.
Yes,
Trent. Dr. Goddess had something for you. Hey, Matt. Hey, Andre. Thank you. Welcome back to the stage. Go ahead, Dr. Goddess.
Yeah, Trent, I had an assignment for you. And the assignment is when you get put on by your quote unquote white folks, that's your term. You need to be coming in here and putting us on, okay? So that we can all make money together.
Baby, I got you. I promise you. Nick, I'm actually going to spend some time with something this weekend, and I promise you, if I get anything good, I'm bringing it back. I'm actually pissed off about that Newsmax IPO. I should have known better. I should have been up on it. That was a missed opportunity for everybody because that was an easy one. But yes, I got you, Dr. Goddess, 100%.
All right. Thanks, Trent. Brian, I'm crying. But the fact that Brian is just laughing.
While we're waiting for this announcement, are y'all tracking that they froze Title X? Trump administration.
What are they?
They froze Title X. So Title X is it's like it's a federal family planning program where like in lower income neighborhoods where they have money available. They put money available to these clinics to help with like these healthcare services like birth control, cancer screenings, STI testings.
Were they taking that away too?
They've already froze the funding. I can't do this shit. Like you can't even be mad, right?
I know.
Like, damn, finally. We're just waiting for you to just let us catch diseases and shit. Just walk around with cancer and not have enough money to get screened. And
They said we don't care if it's Nairobi, Kenya, Gaza in Mozambique, or in the hood. Ain't none of y'all getting better. You better resort to your herbs and your grandmother's advice. That's it.
Just put salt and lemon and it'll be fine. But honestly, like 2 clinics I know of are closing down within the next few months. So I don't know if they were direct beneficiaries of this, but they were in Brooklyn and they provided, maternal health to expectant mothers in Brooklyn, which we already know what's going on with, Black maternal health specifically. But this is very, sad. But yes, I've already seen this happen. And a bit off topic, I've seen already they've announced that social security offices are closing. But they haven't made, I don't see... I saw one article of a particular office closing in New York State, but this other one they announced that's closing, I haven't seen an article deal with that particular. But yeah, social security offices, medical offices, yeah, you can Head Start, 2 Head Start in my area also closed. Yeah, fun.
And Planned Parenthood is saying here, Planned Parenthood is one of the biggest recipients of this Title X funding.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. So I'm reading, it says Title X, so this is a press release, and Planned Parenthood sent out a press release when I was looking up the Title X. So it says Title X is the nation's only federal program dedicated to providing affordable birth control, cancer screening, sexual and reproductive health care to people with low income since it was enacted in 1970. It was a bipartisan bill, and the program has helped millions of people who couldn't otherwise afford these services get the care they need and deserve. So what the CEO, Alex Gil Johnson stated was President Trump and Elon Musk are pushing this dangerous political agenda, stripping healthcare access from people nationwide, not giving a second thought to the devastation they will cause. We know what happens when healthcare providers cannot use Title X funding. People across the country suffer, cancers go undetected, access to birth control is severely reduced, and the nation's STI crisis worsens. Planned Parenthood Action Fund will fight to get this funding restored and keep politicians out of healthcare. People need affordable healthcare options. This cannot stand. So right now, Planned Parenthood is saying that more than 3/4 of Planned Parenthood affiliates participate in Title X program. Overall, in 2023, Planned Parenthood affiliate health centers provided over 400,000 cancer screenings and prevention services, over 2 million birth control services, and over 5 million STI services. More than 300 Planned Parenthood health centers are in the Title X network. 1 in 4 people, including 1 in 3 women, have been to a Planned Parenthood health center in their lifetime. Nearly 8 in 10 voters oppose the Trump administration take away funds used for birth control, and people with low incomes with Planned Parenthood health centers. This includes 60% of Trump voters. So yeah.
What I was gonna say, so yesterday I was catching up with some friends yesterday, and there was just a couple of people in there that did at-home abortions, and I felt so uncomfortable, and I'm like, why am I in this conversation, or why am I in this room? But this is the reality, and one of them is married and already has kids and stuff, but this is what women are doing, right? Or this stuff is gonna increase. They go online and like, okay, let me drink this tea. Let me make my own, remedy and stuff. I was just like, it's terrifying, honestly, to know that. I mean, I have nieces, I have people around me that are, might not have access to care, depending on where they are. And I have a friend that she actually ordered something from China, took the pill, right? And, she definitely had to go to the emergency room, and she was scared. She's like, what do I say? What do I say? Because, if they run my blood work, and this drug shows up, now, I could get arrested. I'm in one of those states where they're prosecuting, people who self-abort. And so very scary conversation. I felt uncomfortable the whole time, like, oh my God, but people are really doing this stuff. You can get this stuff online easily, and people are just going to do this stuff and it's extremely dangerous.
I want to make an important point about the funding, because people will inevitably say this, which is there is no you cannot use federal funds for abortions. That means Planned Parenthood cannot use federal funds for abortions, because I know immediately when Planned Parenthood is brought up, people say it's for abortions, but the Hyde Amendment prevents that from happening. So what Planned Parenthood does, majority of what they do, is health screenings, mammograms, things like that for the health of people. And you don't have to be a woman either. So this is important health care that they're literally taking away from them with this shit.
That's crazy. Because growing up as a kid, like, if you lived in New York back in the early 2000s, Planned Parenthood people went to Planned Parenthood. Girls that I knew went to Planned Parenthood. I knew dudes that went to Planned Parenthood. Like, they actually used Planned Parenthood to get their fucking sports physicals, like shit like that, because their parents didn't have that access to health insurance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I definitely went to, Planned Parenthood as a theme just to talk about stuff. Because I didn't want to hear it from my peers. I certainly was going to ask my, Christian-ass parents who, God forbid, so I certainly went to Planned Parenthood for education for my, annual pap smears, that type of thing. So
Okay, that
that's,
concludes another
it's just
hour
cheaper.
of this comedy campaign.
The more options you have, the cheaper it is. So without this funding, without Planned Parenthood, things become...
So subscribe to my YouTube channel. We've got 17 upvotes. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. God bless Elon Musk. I'm going to restart this and replay. I'm going to put that room back on, but I'm going to change my cameras and then set back up my Pepe doll, plug in my cell phone, and then leave so the battery doesn't die. Please subscribe, share this account, share these videos. I hope you're enjoying them. This is Republican comedy. Health, wealth, love, peace of mind, happiness, and strength. So this is what I'm working with here. I've got a bunch of phones. I'm going to start shutting these down. This is the primary YouTube apparently for some reason now, so I hope you've enjoyed. Also, this is Congressman Kitover, 16th District here in Illinois. I need your support for my campaign. Buy me a cup of coffee right now. Of course I will do an Indian accent for you. This is a comedy show. This is a comedy show.
Henry McMaster ordered the state's Department of Health and Human Services to bar abortion clinics from participating in the Medicaid program. McMaster explained that because money is fungible, the use of Medicaid funds by